I want to ask you a follow-up question about Chicago, because Chicago is an interesting one where I see a lot of mocks putting them with one of these top three wide receivers for obvious reasons. I think it makes sense to pair Caleb Williams with a wide receiver that he's going to come up with. And so he always has that kind of like battery partner throughout his career. They also, though, have made some moves this offseason. So the wide receiver room is not a disaster as it stands right now. Like, it's not an obvious glaring need. I mean, if they did go grab like a Neighbors or Omadunze at 9, then they have arguably the best wide receiver room in the NFL. Like, we're in that conversation now, but they don't have to do that. How do you see that situation in terms of them maybe going O-line instead and trading down and getting a wide receiver, or like whether or not you think that high-end wide receiver at 9 should be a priority for them?
If one falls to me at 9,
Yeah.
I'm drafting them. I'm not desperate to move up. I think if I'm the Jets at 10, I'm a little more desperate to move up and get one of those guys with their timeline. But I'm not desperate to go get one because, they've come around back in the third round. There could still be a guy who could fill that role. But Keenan Allen's like a
Yeah.
1-year deal, right? He's not going to be there long term. That's not, so it could still make a ton of sense. But I think they're going defensive side of the ball at that point, realistically, because their defensive line's still bad. Even with Montez Sweat, they still have holes. It's still thin. So I think that's probably where they're looking. But I don't anticipate one falling to them, truthfully. These guys are too good. Even in a deep wide receiver class, it's like 3 like true number 1 wide receivers that you
You
can really
don't
get at the
think
top of the
that the
draft.
third wide receiver gets to 9?
I don't think it happens. I don't think it
Wow.
does.